Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our August 3rd Board of Education meeting. Would you please stand and join us in reciting our Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May we have a motion, please, to move out of executive session? Second? Second. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, board members, you've had a chance to look at the agenda. We do have some additions. Under Roman numeral 4, letter A, we're going to put a number 5, which will be Monroe County School Board Association interest in meetings. We also will add 2 items to our personnel actions under Roman numeral 5, letter B, section 2. And you have in front of you some wording or wordsmith changes to the district goals on the preamble. So we'll be taking a look at that when we get to our adoption of the board district goals situation. So with that being said, may we have a motion, please, to accept the agenda? Thank you. A second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, motion carries. Looking into the audience, I do not see any visitors, and I do not see any liaisons to the board, so we'll move right away into our superintendent's report.
Thanks, Mike. So, good evening, everybody. As we prepare for our new school year, 34 days away right now for our students, I did tweet that out to upset the students and to get the parents all excited. So as we prepare for a new school year in 34 days, I'm pleased to share that the news that our district has migrated to a new website. Now, the address remains the same, but hopefully you will notice a cleaner, fresher look that features lots of useful information along with easier navigation. Now, as we take this initiative in upgrading to better serve everybody, including those with disabilities, please know that this will be an ongoing process, so I ask for everyone's patience as we continue to add and to refine our website content. Be sure to check it out, as this is a time of year when there are many important messages posted to our website and social media platforms, Facebook and Twitter, with news about the upcoming school year. I, for one, can't wait to welcome our 8,400 students back to school on Tuesday, September 5th. And now that we're talking back to school, please look for your One Webster Back to School newsletter, which should arrive in everyone's homes in the next 2 weeks or so. This newsletter is filled with helpful information about the school year and our district, so keep an eye out for that publication. It is an important one, and one that you will want to refer to often throughout the year, along with our new website. And that ends my report.
Thank you, Karen.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to take a look at our Medicare compliance, and we want to look at this system for oversight of Medicaid billing, reporting, and services. And we want to ensure that our Medicare services are properly documented and accurately billed, and that the services are rendered. Now, the district is committed to maintaining the accuracy of every claim it processes and submits. So, Shelley, would you like to update us on how the district makes sure this all happens?
Well, as you know, every year the Board of Education is responsible to review the compliance document and to approve it. Really, at this time, there are no major changes. There are behind-the-scenes, like process changes that we have had to comply with the new regulations with Medicaid. One of them being, as a district, we would receive from the county information in regards to the students that would be eligible for Medicaid services. We no longer receive that listing. So we need to send out information to all of our parents who have students who are students with disabilities, and have them send back that information to us to let us know if they do receive Medicaid services, so that we can then bill for those services if those services are on a student's IEP. Excuse me?
It just seems like a lot of extra work.
Well, it really is about confidentiality, and it is the parents. They have the ability to either share the information or not share the information with us. So they have to sign, they have to give us the information of the students. It's a healthcare number, just as though your medical healthcare information. It is their medical healthcare information, so that
Okay.
we are then able to bill.
That makes sense.
Right, through Medicaid.
You think we'll miss some students?
Absolutely.
And do we have anything in place to help parents that might need some assistance?
We do. We have, so for example, we are going to start during all of our CSE meetings, we will share the information with parents so that we can have a conversation with them as long as providing them documentation. They can then either take that information home with them and send it back in, or they could complete the information right there at the CSE meeting.
Okay, thank you.
And there are two ways for students to be eligible. It is family income, and/or it is due to their disability.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions from the board?
I actually have something more.
Okay.
Okay, so, this money is not that predictable because we aren't always reimbursed, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and so where do we keep it in our budget?
We don't. For a reason. About five years ago, the state pulled the plug on it for us. They intercepted all of it and left districts kind of holding the bag with zero funds there. So historically, Medicaid funding isn't something that's very reliable. So we do not budget for it. If it comes in, it's just extra.
Miscellaneous?
Miscellaneous, because we don't want to tie anything to it, because if it goes away again, then whatever it's tied to has to go away.
Right.
So for us, it's just something extra on top of our revenues that,
Okay.
if we get it, great. If we don't lose anything by losing that revenue.
Right.
Because we can't count on it.
Right.
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 The state intercepts almost half of what we actually apply for and counts as our excess cost aid. They turn around and supplement that
Yeah.
with that, so.
And sometimes, Sue, if it does come in, it could be used when we have those students that move into our district that are high-need students that we weren't budgeting for. And all of a sudden, like we had 3 years ago, I think, we had
Right.
some students move in, and all of a sudden, it was $1 million, I'm not sure, I think it was $1
About-
million.
Yep.
Approximately $1
Yeah.
million in cost that we were not expecting.
Right.
And so, okay, how do you pay for that? So, again, but as Shelley and Brian have said, you just never know
don't know.
how many Medicaid dollars are coming to the district, so.
But with that said, so we have the Medicaid compliance document. It is the document that is the oversight for the whole process. So it is, we have to make sure that that our staff, they have learned all the rules, the regulations, and the process. We have to let all staff within the district know what their obligation is if they feel that it's being abused in any way. So all of those processes still need to take place.
Good, thank you.
Others? Are you okay? All right, then may we have a motion, please, to accept the Medicaid compliance program document? Thank you. Second?
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks, Shelley.
Thanks, Shelley.
We did make some transfers of funds into our reserve at our June meeting, but now that the fiscal year is completed, we can determine the exact transfer amount. So Brian, would you like to fill us in on those details?
Sure. So what you have in front of you is really a four-part informational memo. The top part is just a reminder of what was estimated in June for your reference as a comparison. We always have to do that before we close, do an estimation before we close, and then before we set the taxes, which we'll be doing a week from Tuesday, we have to finalize that because now July is over very quickly and we closed our books and are beginning our audit. So the second part is that you can see the exact amounts. And I just want to highlight one change for everybody between the estimated and the exact. Throughout this year, the board has approved several tax certiorari cases and settlements. So as part of that process, we work with our auditors and our attorneys to look at our reserve ongoing and how much money's in there. Because the outstanding liabilities now for a lot of those cases have now been satisfied through our settlement agreements, it's brought that amount down. So when we were talking to our auditors, they thought it would be prudent to actually pay from the tax certiorari reserve those claims that we had throughout this year. So the one difference we are not adding to the tax certiorari reserve because those outstanding liabilities have come down, and we're actually decreasing the amount and using the funds in that reserve account to pay those rather than using excess general fund money to pay those. So that's just the one difference between the estimate and what's really going to happen. Yeah. We just got a nice little thick packet of them to the office in the past 2 weeks, since July 1 is the tax roll.
Right.
So every year we get challenges. So yes,
Challenges,
they're
yeah.
continuously ongoing.
Okay.
So, but because we settled some big cases with some large dollar figures, the auditors help us set what we should have in our reserve.
Okay.
And we like to do what they say. And then just the third part of this is to complete the 16-17 cycle. We had estimated some reserves as part of our revenue. We do not need those, so those are being transferred back into their original accounts since we did not use those. And then for this upcoming year, 17-18, we have an amount that we're projecting to use, so you're approving transferring that amount out and into the general fund for 17-18. So there are 4 parts.
Everybody got that?
Yep.
Questions? Then may we have a motion, please, on the amount of money that we are transferring to reserves?
So move.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Well, since you're up, Brian, why don't you give us the treasurer's report?
Sure. The treasurer's report is for the month of June. Just a couple things to highlight with the treasurer's report. Last chunk of state aid for 16-17 came in right on the last day of June. You see our general state aid, BOCES check, and some public excess monies have come in. The big thing in June, though, that stands out a lot is the due from other funds. Our grants are finishing up, so we're getting cash flow coming from our federal grants. So a lot of the times the general fund loans that money to our federal fund, so it's able to pay the general fund back now when that money comes in from the federal government. So you see a little larger amount in the month of June for that. So that's about it for the treasurer's report that would stand out for the month of June.
Questions from the board? Things are looking good?
Yeah.
Motion to accept the treasurer's report, please.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Treasurer's report is accepted. Now, the Board of Education believes in educating every child and the whole child. It is our responsibility as a Board of Education to provide the best environment for our children to learn, to grow, and to recognize their potential in whatever field it may be. We believe the classroom is more than just a room. The classroom is the stage, the sports field, the clubs, any place that involves children exploring, experimenting, performing, or interacting with adults, all which lead to learning. Each teacher should be given the latitude to practice the art of teaching in ways that maximize his or her talents and skills and knowledge for the benefit of our children. The true outcome of a Webster education is success in life, taking civic responsibility, becoming and being a caring and respectful individual with a lifelong desire to learn. Now, to achieve this vision, the Board of Education and the superintendent met earlier in July to develop 3 primary goals. These goals are stepping stones to an end result. They must be present in every action plan and become a regular part of our ongoing operations. These goals will help our district focus on the right priorities and help align our values with everything the district does. So our first goal states, Webster Central School District's academic program will provide all students with the knowledge, skills, and opportunities necessary to be successful as learners, workers, and citizens. Our second goal states that the Webster Central School District will provide a safe, respectful, caring environment by promoting the physical, social, and mental health of our students, staff, and community. And finally, our third goal states that Webster's operation and budget will reflect the values of the school community. The budget will be structured to support all district programs and operations while maintaining fiscally responsible practices. Board members, do you have any comments, reactions, or opinion on these goals?
Yeah. They're nice and clean. I like that.
The only thing I want to call your attention to is the preamble, which I did not mention to the public. It has been changed from 3 sentences to 1, which basically states, the Webster Board of Education is committed to providing an excellent education environment where all students and staff can be compassionately connected, joyfully engaged, and always learning. But I kind of hinted at that in my opening statement.
That's fine.
No other comments?
This brings me happiness.
You're joyful.
Can we get M&Ms that say that?
We'll work on that.
Can you fit compassionately connected on one M&M?
It's a big envelope.
Both sides, probably.
All right, seeing that there is no further discussion, may we have a motion to adopt the 2017-2018 Board of Education district goals?
I'll make, go ahead.
Thank you. Second, Sue? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. The Monroe County School Boards Association does hold meetings during the year, and they're interested in finding what the interest of each school board may be. We are looking at, and I'm sorry I didn't give you copies of this, a mini mental health series which would include understanding anxiety, building resilient schools, and the impact of student suicide on school culture. All right, so I'll mark that down there. How about confronting hate speech in our schools? Another one possible. Are we interested in that, the Hungry Hippo, what is it, HHFK, the national standards for food, for our,
No.
the regulations on what we can have served in food. They called it, he always used to call it Hungry Hippo for some
Really?
reason. Yeah. Yeah, I know it is, but I think that's why he called it, because it was a game and what he had to serve.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just interested in making sure all of our students
The health, yeah.
that aren't hungry, yeah.
Hungry, Healthy, Free Kids Act. That's right. That's what it would fit. Are we interested in community schools and how they work? I'm going to say no. How about understanding special education cost drivers?
That's always helpful.
Okay.
Because it changes all the time.
How about communicating with stakeholders?
It's ongoing, isn't it?
Okay. Homework efficiency. I don't know where that's going to go.
What's that called?
Homework efficiency. I wonder if somebody's,
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I don't either,
But
but I'm
some school
wondering.
districts are giving up homework.
Giving
Yeah.
up homework.
Yeah, they're not having homework.
All right, we have at least 5 down there.
Oh, really?
You're gonna try.
That's why they're joyful.
And the last topic there would be how best to engage the community with prospective board
We're
candidates.
on camera. I can see.
How to engage the community?
How best to engage the community with prospective board candidates.
I like the how best to engage the community, period.
Okay. All right, and then we'll move on to labor relations. How about substitute shortage revisited? An alternate supply line. I don't know what the, actually, that's an important one, tell you the truth.
Yeah. If there's an alternate supply line, it's very important to find out what that
Were
is.
these suggestions from other
Yeah.
districts within the county?
Yeah.
How about how New York State and the federal government control and affect labor relations? No. Retirement incentives?
That's the committee. We're offering
understanding Medicaid and how funding affects your district and staff.
We just learned about that.
You can go to that meeting.
I'll leave that to Shelley.
How about employment laws that are impacting schools?
Are there new ones?
There's always a new one.
And family leave,
Doesn't
To
impact us.
Paid family.
that's not going to go?
No, it's not going to,
And understanding the new regulations on overtime rules and who they cover.
doesn't
No?
impact us.
All right, so it doesn't sound like labor is going to be a very interesting year this.
Thanks for putting me on that one.
You're welcome.
Dave will be with you. It's okay.
Yeah, it's always nice sitting next to Dave.
The meetings will be fast.
Sitting next to Dave.
Okay, board members, would you please take a look at the information that was passed out to you, because there are some added individuals on that certified probationary list. Only because we're going to move into our consent agenda, which includes minutes and the personnel actions, which these two names will be added to. The recommendation of the Committee on Special Education, the recommendation of the Committee on Preschool, an international trip
Yeah.
to Peru. And there's some bids for athletic uniforms and some stuff with buses, like tires and brake shoes.
Fun stuff.
Yeah. Any questions before we vote on? I know, Sue, you usually object to the fact that students will be missing school, but if you read closely, the only time that the plane leaves is that particular day that
No,
they
I
can get there.
understand. Don't
All right.
like it, but,
But it's,
yeah,
we curbed it a lot, so this is really the first one in last 2 or 3 years.
yeah. Yeah.
And I'm sure some of them will come back with a lot of inspiration, so
Yes,
that's
it's a
what
good
I'm counting on.
one. So, are they, yeah, right. So, right, the kids are technically in school, well, they're technically learning, so we still get
Correct.
state aid for the students, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's
Don't
no
have to worry
issue
about
with that.
Correct.
And
Yes.
I probably didn't read as closely as I should have, but are we requiring trip insurance?
Yes. Yes, we are.
Okay.
Yes,
And the students pay all their own expenses, right?
yes. There's no cost to the district
Right.
other than the substitute teacher
Right.
cost to the district.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking, yes. So that's probably the cost.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? Then may we have a motion, please, to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, let me point out to you that we do have a workshop on Tuesday, which is a change of date. We are going to be taking a look at the tax rate approval. The reason we're doing it on Tuesday is because of Brian needs the time to get the taxes set, right?
So,
Yeah, just as an example, last year we had 4 iterations of our rolls with star changes. This year we're down to 1, so the extra time is proving helpful, so we get the most accurate information.
what
Okay.
time does that meeting start?
On the 15th, we haven't set a time.
Oh, we
No.
don't.
No, we haven't.
We haven't.
had
Okay.
agenda setting for that.
Okay,
Most likely we'll start.
Probably six, well,
something, it's an
6:30.
evening.
yeah.
You guys
it'll-
all make 6 o'clock.
Yeah?
You do 6 o'clock?
Just remember, Mike would really like us not to start before 6, all right?
Oh, okay.
All right, then,
We could do a 6:15.
yeah, we'll do 6:15.
6:15?
All right, so we'll do our workshop at 6:15.
Set the agenda next weekend.
Yeah.
And it'll start here in
Yeah.
this
Start
room?
here
Yeah.
for 10 or 15 minutes while Brian tells us about tax rates, and then we'll adjourn to the workshop upstairs.
Okay.
Okay? Everyone is set? Motion, we have the motion already. And so with that being said, may we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Good night, everyone.